in this one.
That seems to be the case, and the deck has adapted quite a bit. Obviously, Finsmiths are a big part of also the Yubel deck, and yeah, there it goes. We start things off with Tract.
Yeah, the one very interesting thing that Owen has in his main deck is the access to both Perulia and Fluoros. So both of those cards are massive deterrents against the Yubel strategy, because not only do Yubel want to be working through the extra deck through the access of the Fiendsmith engine, but it can also lead into the Unchained engine. And then on top of that, they also grant themselves additional normal summons. And of course, you do have other cards like Grave Squirmer that want to be coming from the hand.
Yeah.
So Perulia can also be just as devastating as a Fluoros. And having both of those in the main deck for Owen can definitely cause some issues and maybe force Mel to hold back the amount they want to present onto their field.
However, unfortunately, at least the Fuvalos is not here, has not been used whatsoever. And that reduces significantly the amount of interruptions that could be in the end from Owen. Wow, and we actually see a normal summon of our own Fuvalos.
Working into the Fiendsmith sequence. Obviously not the ideal normal summon you want to be seeing for the Yubel strategy at all. So it does look like opening up Tract might be the more direct route for this play.
The big difference is that this deck exactly can go into the Aerial Eater, which opens up a lot of other plays. This could have been all over, but this into the Muckracker actually opens up some pretty nice lines for the Yubel deck.
Yeah, exactly that. Being able to send the Samsara Lotus is obviously going to be able to give you access to your starter or one of your best starters for the Yubel line. And that can work you pretty much all the way through to everything you need, going into the Unchained portion of the extra deck as well, leading into a final field of something along the lines of Soul of Rage, followed up by a Phantom of Yubel, a Nightmare Pain. And that's very, very, as you kind of mentioned, very, very powerful just to come through the Fiendsmith line to bring you that kind of synergy with your Yubels that you want to gain access to as well.
Indeed. And this is exactly what we are going to be witnessing. Gonna set up all the different Unchained pieces. Easy on SK. Ah, wow, actually, big surprise. Not maining any trap card. Only siding the escape. Interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting because it kind of... I mean, the other kind of counterpoint to that is they are main decking a Fiendsmith Sanct. So it seems that they've kind of prioritized including that particular card over something along the lines of main decking one of the Unchained trap cards.
At the same time, 48. So
it's not as if they're losing much,
I mean, not gonna, comment too much on that, but I mean, maybe we could have found the 49, space. But I mean, the opener should still be pretty strong. So hopefully you won't need that additional interruption.
Yeah, it seems that we're very well in control of how we want to work this way through, being able to get Yubel, and of course that Grave Squirmer working itself into another link, which could possibly be a second Jama, and then we still have the ability of creating a Phantom of Yubel as well. Keeping in mind that we are currently Fiendlocked, I believe, because we do have the Shavara on the field via its own effect, and this will make it a little bit more streamlined, but that would then still open up once we get that removed from the field through some form of link summoning mechanics. And the one thing I am extremely excited about is there is an Unchained Soul of Anguish. Okay. So as I mentioned back in round one, I do miss that good old red dog. Yeah. Exactly. So being able to see that is something that could be quite exciting later on in the later stages.
And here comes that Muckracker.
Yeah, so that Muckracker being able to revive any fiend from the graveyard, coming straight back into the Soul of Rage. We already have direct access through most of the Yubel cards. I suppose the only thing that is missing is that Phantom, but more Yubel players are being very, very reserved with that. Now that you're only being able to play one copy of it, you kind of want to make sure you use it at the most opportune moments.
Yeah, but at the same time I'm seeing Mel shaking his head for some reason, maybe not too happy with something that went wrong down the line. Yeah, you can see it.
Possibly not wanting to put back Is there 2 Fiends with 0/0? Ah, there we go. So there's the Samsara Lotus
Yeah.
coming back. I believe maybe they were trying to navigate in order to have the Samsara D Lotus stay on the field, so come back from the graveyard, but then also still be able to set up the Phantom of Yubel. But I feel that there is only one other 0/0 Fiend in the graveyard, being the Spirit of Yubel. Not wanting to sacrifice Lotus or Yubel is quite an interesting approach.
Yeah. And now play is back on Owen. At least the good news is if you don't open any of those, mulch armies, you're going to have a lot of engine to play with. And Mermail is a really good deck at doing that. I guess we have used Impermanence on the Unchained.
Yeah, I would assume that would be the best kind of way there. But then also you do need to worry about the Lotus. It looks like we are going to be seeing a Poseidra come down. And what I can tell is possibly a Dragoons in the graveyard.
An ultimate.
Definitely flexing the extra shine on these particular cards there.
Okay.
Just
Not really gonna prompt a response, and this can create so much advantage. We have seen previously what Poseidra can do, especially going second, helping to crack some fields.
Yeah, the best thing about this, being able to chain block some of your mandatory effects with the Poseidra can be very, very helpful. Maybe we didn't use... No, I'd like to think we used Impermanence on the Rage, otherwise Mel might respond with Rage linking off that Poseidra. Still trying to need to navigate if that Samsara D Lotus is going to utilize the effect as well. Currently we do have a very nice semi-attack lock, thanks to Nightmare Pain as well.
Yeah.
Plus 2 cards along the spell and trap zones. Just looking at Mel's deck list right now, it could possibly be 2 infinite impermanences, but they could also be a couple of bluffs, as it doesn't look like there's anything else spell and trap worthy that could interact here.
Yeah, having a big think here, and we are gonna use the Impermanence on the Poseidra. No response. So we are gonna use the Shadow Squad later.
Yeah, so it looks like we valued... I wouldn't say it was an early activation of infinite impermanence. Mel did take quite a lot of time to think about that to make sure it's utilized. And there's an Ash Blossom as well.
Makes sense. I mean, we did go and search for the Minstrel, so
yeah,
it would have been banished anyways. Another Dragoon. Wow.
This is the one good thing that, well, not just the one good thing, but Atlantean Mermails are very good at this, because you're already preempting and showing your opponent that because you're discarding this cost, they already know the next thing you're going to want to do on the next chain. So you're always kind of contemplating, do we try and stop the first thing that's happening, or do we stop the second thing that's happening? It's always going to lead to some form of advantage one way or another.
And this leads to the Abyss Shrine, one of the greatest piece of support, alongside this other searcher.
Yeah, so it looks like we've gone with Neptivist. Keep in mind, we've already used the normal summon on Pike.
Yeah, on Pike.
So unless there is a way in Mermails that I am unfamiliar with to grant an additional normal summon, we know that there is a Minstrel still in the hand.
Yeah, we can just use the other effect, I guess, to just revive something. And is that it? I think.
Ooh, looks like a Neptivist and an Abyss Shrine effect. Still one set unknown. And I can't tell if Mel has held back this Samsara or if the Samsara has been negated at some point. But I find it, I don't remember seeing 2 forms of negation. So this may be something that was preemptive, is waiting for the Sealer Camp, and that's possibly where you're going to strike to make sure that that effect does not resolve.
One of the 2 interruptions, are definitely still there for Mel. Just gotta figure out which one it is between the Unchained Link Monster or the Lotus.
I feel
No.
the one thing that we need to keep in mind here is if that Samsara is still live, the Samsara effect. Oh, it was
Oh, it
Rage that
is.
was still alive.
Interesting.
Wow. Very, very
Now we are
interesting.
gonna see this SP come down to just banish the Coelicant.
Very, very interesting
wow.
that we decided to infinite impermanence the Samsara D Lotus at the start.
But
Wow, that SP was incredibly powerful. Being able to trade pretty much 3 monsters on this one is very, very effective. The other thing that I was going to say is that the Samsara D Lotus, it turns the effect into destroy a Yubel monster on the field. Now, the sacrifice of that would be you would tribute off your Samsara D Lotus and then destroy the Yubel. Some people would play the Terror Incarnate, but it doesn't look like Mel has that in their deck list. So they wouldn't have, what that would have led to, is what I'm trying to get to, is that by getting rid of that Yubel on the field, it wouldn't be able to float into a Terror Incarnate, which would then also mean that Nightmare Pain wouldn't be effective at all because there would be no Yubel to redirect attacks.
yeah, and also here maybe a little bit of an unfortunate sequence because we tried to negate the SP effect with Coelicant, but then we still lost the. So maybe we could have let SP resolve, and then we will still have Pike and Dragoon to maybe go into Abamus Shark and resolve also the Dragoon effect. But yeah, this now looks. Awful if you're Owen. I mean, just gonna put it that way because Mel is in the driving seat. A lot of resources in the graveyard set up, and that Nightmare Pain is still there. And when you're facing a 2700 attack monster, you can close the duel in an alternative way, we could say.
Yeah, especially when you've got the Fiend's cards in the graveyard to kind of come back a little bit more here. You still have Samsara D Lotus, which will lead you into hopefully another Yubel monster. Just being able to attack into
Third
Camp.
Dragoon? Yeah.
Third Dragoon,
wow.
yes.
We had 3 Dragoons in hand. But still, that wasn't enough at the end of the day.
No. It looks like Owen is going to try and gain as much field presence as possible and as much resource as possible. Maybe trying to work its way into the Poseidon to be another form of interaction, but still being able to have access to this Samsara D Lotus, leading into a second Yubel monster. Just being able to attack twice into any strong monster that Owen leaves on the field would ultimately lead to game. As Owen had to take damage previously with the Dragoons attacking into Yubel, as you are not able to skip your battle phase. And just by being able to get the Spirit of Yubel onto the field, maybe even working into a Phantom, which looks like exactly what is going to happen here. And Owen sees the writing on the wall on that one.
Yep.
To go. Again, absolutely amazed. If I'm waiting to be shocked. I'm waiting for that one person to decide on who goes first and second and chooses to go second.
Yes. Oh, oof. And here we see a Purulia pretty strong against the Mermail deck.
Yeah, and just taking a quick peek into Owen's hand, it looked like there was an Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs alongside a Nibiru, the Primal Being, and a Abyss Pike. Not the most ideal starters for your Mermail strategy, which does kind of preempt why we are going to be using 6. And there goes the Ash Blossom as well. Mel knows when you are banishing 6 off of Prosperity, you are really looking to dig. And unfortunately, that is going to be stopped with the Ash. Here comes the normal summon of the Pike. Here is the one draw off the back of the Purulia. And unfortunately, hard opening up the Mooning Glacier as well. Sometimes it's nice to see it, but you want to make sure you're seeing it with a lot of combo to be able to resolve that as successfully as possible.
This is looking absolutely rough for Owen. I was about to ask you at the start of the turn whether you agreed with not using Ash Blossom on the Purulia from his side, but I mean, yeah, the end was not looking promising, and at least we are able to get to this Coelicant, which needs to resolve.
Yeah, it looks like Owen is sacrificing a lot of his hand.
Okay.
Yeah, we know that there's no Ash Blossom, so we were really praying and hoping there wasn't an Effect Veiler or an Infinite Impermanence in that one. Or even a Dominus Impulse, we never know.
Yeah, it's a big sigh of relief for sure. Unfortunately, obviously, one of the Pikes was used, so we can only summon 3, not 4.
Yeah, still a very, very good option to try and work its way into.
Oh my, no, there is an Nibiru as well. Wow.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate.
Completely out of cards.
What does Mel have? Oh, opening up.
Yeah, this could be a quick one.
And unfortunately, we already saw that Owen had to use his Nibiru. He had to lose out on his prosperity. A lot of his cards were checked 1 for 1. And unfortunately, with no response to the Dark Beckoning Beast, it looks like we've got the ideal opening here for Mel as well.
Yeah, I mean, not much to be said. Owen's end was already on, you know, more of the weaker side, and then when you're facing off against so many interruptions, it's brutal. Mulcharmi, Pululia, Ash Blossom, and Nibiru, the primal being.
Yeah, and then to top it all off, being able to start off with a very, very powerful starter for the Yubel strategy. We say Yubel strategy, even though we've worked into that. And there is an Ash Blossom on the Requiem.
Wow. Wow.
Nightmare Throne as well. Okay, so...
yeah, it's just the dream, man, let's face it.
When the heart of the cards are with you, they are with you for sure. There we go. Even had the Phantasme. Very interesting choice to side that in. But I suppose if you do go down the link routes of the Mermail strategy, being able to kind of present a Phantasme, put back some of the cards you might not want to be seeing in your hand, stuff like a Yubel, and then being able to draw fresh cards or draw fresh cards first and then recycle. Also being able to set up that targeted protection can be very, very helpful from cards like Infinite Impermanence. And that Nibiru token is pretty strong in defense. So just being able to add on a Phantom of Yubel, if possible, can very easily present an OTK opportunity right here, just attacking into that Nibiru token. We still have the discard off the back of the Opening Spirit Gates, unless I've missed that. We do know that there is a Dark Beckoning Beast and a Yubel in the graveyard, so there comes the Phantom of Yubel. 2 attacks onto the Nibiru token. Just trying to recall exactly what the stats are, but I believe it is two pikes plus the Coelacanth and 1 other. Just trying to shore it up here. I don't believe Owen has any more cards.
And then